Democratic Party uses to tell you about its opinions and views about the topical issues today. Ghana today was forced to remember the Dark Tuesday. Fortunately, it is no longer a Tuesday, but it is a Wednesday. As light as that may be, we reflect upon the life of the late President, John Evans Atta Mills. What really are the lessons that we have to learn from this? Again, the Supreme Court petition is still there. Though we are not going to court on a daily basis as we used to do, the matter still hangs, and the air is still morbid with the rabid effects of some of the cases that are still pending before the Supreme Court of Ghana. What really should we expect out of the Supreme Court at this point in time? We do not seek to force the court to do anything else but what they will do. However, it is our opinions that we want to share with all of you. With me tonight in the studio is somebody who has been a big case person. When I say a big case person, he was the plaintiff in a case that all law students, including myself, study from. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Dr. Kwame Amwako Tufo. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
It's an honor to have you in the studio once again, and we feel blessed by your presence.
I'm highly honored to be here too.
Okay.
Thank you very
now,
much.
Let's begin the discussion on a very rather slow and sad note. A year ago, by this time, we had all gotten to know as a nation that the president of the state was dead. How did you receive the news?
It was a big shock. Before I start, I'd like everyone to join me to wish him and his spirit very well. He was a friend of mine, and he became a friend of mine because we were classroom mates in Achimota School, and we're very good to each other. So I wish Fifi well. May God look after him wherever he is very well for all of us, and especially for me as well.
Okay. Now, so many stories have been told after his death. Some seek to contend that it was insults that killed him. Others seek to contend that, there were issues with his ill health among all of these things. Post his death, how have we as a nation handled the issues? You think we did very well?
Terrible. I cannot see how a head of state would die in mysterious circumstances. And up to today, we don't have any serious report on how he died, how he ended up in maternity ward of 37, how he was conveyed to the hospital, who the doctor was, how did he die. All these are questions. I was coming to the studio and I was listening to one of the radio stations, and I heard that his family members are demanding reports on that. I think it's very important that we honor him with that, at least to find out the cause of death, how he went away. Otherwise, it will still come back and haunt us. And I think it's very important that we know.
So far as you're concerned, the calls for an inquiry into the circumstances of his death are justified?
Absolutely. If ordinary people's death, with respect, are investigated. How about a head of state?
Well,
and there are all kinds of conflicting stories. So I think it calls for proper investigation.
And on the occasion of the 1-year anniversary of the death of the late president, we here wish to say that matter must be solved. We need to know the truth, the circumstances surrounding the death of the late president. We wish to call on all the authorities that, look, sometimes even our pets, when they die under mysterious circumstances, we do inquire into how it happened so that we do not repeat those mistakes. Even our pets. The late president was a man of great stature, somebody who had risen to the highest office of this land. We do not have to treat him as though he were a thing to be thrown away. Let's dignify him. and do the right thing. After all, it's even a law in Ghana that says that when these things happen, we need to follow the right course. But back to our discussion. That's the Kwame Tufo. First of all, Tufo versus Attorney General. Everybody was in Ghana. Why did you decide to take it up? It wasn't a personal matter.
Definitely not. I had started a pressure group called National Progressive Union, arguably probably the first of its type. And our focus was to protect certain elements within the Constitution. The judiciary, the Attorney General, the Accountant General, these were areas of accountability that helped me to formulate that, and it was a nationwide organization. It was therefore very important to note that at that time, the judiciary was in trouble. A government of the day was trying to sack the Chief Justice. And that was definitely against our principle. And so I decided, and you know who my lawyer was?
Please tell us.
Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo was my lawyer. He was my solicitor. He was brilliant. And we took the matter to court. They asked me in court what I had in common with him. I'm not an Ewe. The Chief Justice was an Ewe from Volta region. I come from Ashanti region. So what's the basis? He was not my friend and all that. What we must appreciate as people is that we must unite with our beautiful differences as one people for our only country. So on principle, it was because it was unfair to treat anybody with contempt and against the basic principles of our Constitution. The Chief Justice, before the Constitution was promulgated, the Chief Justice who was there still remained Chief Justice. And politicians wanted to remove him so that they could put their favorite there. And I stood against that. And I was supported by Nanado. So this fight and struggle for democracy and the rule of law and the respect for the judiciary started a long time ago. I come here tonight in the same vein to make sure that the respect for the judiciary is well established and the boldness and the independence of the judiciary as enshrined in our Constitution is very well established, so that we help the judiciary to stay bold, to protect them, because that is one essential element of the separation of powers, and we must balance it. The executive, the legislature, and the judiciary.
Okay.
As soon as we allow the courts to move away from judicial activities and get into political, social considerations and whatever, then we are slipping. We must respect, protect, and by protection, I really mean it. A lawyer, a judge may go to court. He has to be bold to say what the law is, rather than having considerations because people may say this or people may insult them or whatever. No. That is why the police is there. Okay. But I'll get into those areas later.
Yeah, but you made a very interesting point about the boldness of the judiciary in the entire scheme of things. In Tufo versus Attorney General, for instance, the judges were very bold to uphold the law and go against the will of the government of the day. So, would you say that your particular case set a very clear precedent that the judges of this land can be extremely bold when they need us?
Absolutely. I mean, I was threatened quite a few times. They bent down, some people bent down my restaurant, and Nanado was also threatened. We stood our grounds. The judges decided to be very fair to the core, and nothing happened to them. That is a serious precedent. And the respect within the whole scheme of things of our democracy, the role of the judiciary was well enhanced because they came out, looked at the law. I said they could, the government of the day could not sack the Chief Justice. That was what was in front of them. Could they or could they not? And they couldn't sack him. Very bold, very decisive. And we must all respect them and hold them in high esteem.
So obviously you disagree with those who say that Ghana's Supreme Court is not that bold.
They have a test case now in front of them. They have to be bold. Of course, we must also help them to be bold. If I'm bold in coming here and I see a bunch of thugs outside there are certain elements within society that should help me to stay bold. The police, for instance, have to protect them. I don't think, as we have it now, the security of the judiciary is very well thought of and very well protected. How many people or police or security personnel are detailed to protect the Supreme Court judges as we sit now? It is important. It's of national interest. It is extremely important so that they can discharge their duties fairly and well.
Okay. Now, I want to ask you your opinion on a particular matter. The NPP, led by Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, Dr. Mohamed Bawumia, and Jacob Echebilamte have presented a petition before the Supreme Court of Ghana seeking to have the results of the 2012 elections as announced by the Election Commission to be overturned. In the last couple of weeks, there has been this opinion that, well, perhaps the middle ground is that the judges should declare a rerun of the elections. What is your opinion on that?
Rerun is chaotic. I'll come to that in a minute. I think there is a very clear-cut court case in front of the judges. In my opinion, I'm not trying to interfere with the judicial process or with their stand. I brought a pen in front of you. This is my position. It's either you accept it as a red pen or a black pen. The difference here is the court expected to judge matters through the court of law purely on legal lines and basis? That is where their strength is. The independence of the judiciary rests on that. As soon as the judiciary starts thinking of social and political considerations, in my simple opinion, they will be moving and shedding off power to the legislature or the executive. Theirs is to give rulings on law. Now, if President John Mahama is deemed to be president after this case, the judgment should give it to him, because then it is established that the Akufo-Addo's case has no merit. The various things they brought have been shut down, and therefore John Mahama remains president. Or, based on the merits of the case, the things that have been brought to court, I say overvoting. Is it legal or not legal? If it is legal, what does it mean? If it's illegal, what does it mean? So what is the judgment based on the things that have been brought? Clear-cut situations. If Akufo-Addo has merit, you give it to him. Now, the third consideration of going for a rerun sort of smacks of something that somebody is not quite bold. This is my opinion. As a country, I'm tempted to exercise too much of my freedom of speech. I don't have any intention to establish any contempt anywhere, no. I'm just talking freely as a citizen of this country. Okay? If I want to pacify you and pacify others because, well, there will be trouble, there will be chaos, then let me get into how we run the kinds of troubles that it can come with. That is why I started by saying, if it's a case that cannot hold, let's have a clear-cut decision. If it holds, let's have a clear-cut decision. Now, down there, in the general population of this country, people are very angry with the Electoral Commission. On what processes can we have 90 days to clean up electoral process? I'm not talking only about heads that can be changed and substituted by maybe party people or whatever, but the whole structure throughout the regions and throughout the entire country. 90 days will not be enough. There may be a lot of rot inside that system. 2, you need a lot of money to run this successfully. Do we have the money? Is that why we are increasing taxes everywhere to raise quick money in case? No, I don't want to go there. But do we have enough money there? 3, if you go for a rerun for a country that people have been listening to radio and TV all the time, the general population have formed their own ideas as to how the thing must go.
Based on the court case and the fact that...
Based on the court case, and exactly. And you come and say that, it's like twisting the truth as far as they are concerned. Now, they may want to go and force to let their party win. At the same time, you may also have NDC going to struggle hard to say, we won in the first place. There's a big clash that can happen. There's so many things that we need to avoid if we can. And that is why I'm saying that it is important that if we think the case has no merits, like I come to you, you're a policeman, I say somebody has stolen my shirt. You ask me, what color? I say, blue. You go and search the man. He has a green shirt, which was stolen from somebody else. So a stolen shirt. But you're saying it's blue. This is red or white. Even though it's stolen, in court of law, the description that fits that particular crime won't give you the judgment. Because it is not in court that we want to find out whether the guy is a thief throughout. He's stolen a white shirt, yes. But you have complained that you've lost your blue shirt, and it's not with him. So the guy is free. If you want to pacify them, and you go middle of the way, you may end up creating a lot of trouble. The various problems that can come up with, we need time to clean, say, the electoral system. We need time.
Even the voters register.
The voters register. There's so many things that if we try to rush, and the Constitution will allow us 90 days, we can't do it. We have to be realistic. So a decision in trying to pacify may end up backfiring, and it could create a lot of serious problems, in my small opinion.
in your very small opinion, which
Yes.
is a very, very interesting opinion that you hold as well, because you have already indicated that the courts of Ghana have been bold before, and you stand behind them in the fact that they can be bold no matter what the situation is. But let's bring this whole discussion to the local level. Let's say that, what was the impact of the live telecast on the people of Ghana? You shuffle between Accra and Kumasi most of the time. What did you see the mood of the country was during the live telecast? What did people tell you?
First of all, let me commend the Chief Justice. It was brilliant. This is how democracy has to be seen. In bringing it out, people will get the truth, rather than party propagandists coming out and lying left, right, center to the general population about, in court today, it happened this, and it's all lies. People are listening, they've been given the right to information. They have formed their opinions. You say, what is overvoting? Overvoting is that they all know it. Now, what had transpired? The rot that was here. If you try to get them to change their minds by giving a kind of judgment, because the general public already has a judgment. As soon as you try to accommodate other interests, they're going to hit the street. I'm not predicting that. I have examined it, and I believe
it's a likely outcome.
It's a very likely kind of thing. Because the whole world, for instance, listened. The general public were glued to it. They've understood it. Some were translated into local language. They know it left, right, center. So they're expecting a particular judgment. Unless the judgment, if it goes contrary to what they expect, the reasons for the judgment have to be very clear to them. Otherwise, there could be trouble.
There could be chaos. There could be confusion. Yes. Okay. Now, in these very trying times, I mean, look at your case, Tufo versus Attorney General. When you got to the stage of addresses, among other things, what was the mood in the country like back then?
At that time, and we're talking about 33 years ago.
Yeah.
At that time, people were geared seriously to that. That was probably the first time a constitutional crisis, that Salah's case was also there. But this time, people were so interested. What shocked them was that I was not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. I'm an engineer. Okay? But the most important thing was that it started uniting the country. Especially Evers, Ashantis were beginning. We need unity. Everybody who knew. Lots of people, at that time, it wasn't open on the TV and all that. But you read the papers, people were buying papers and reading. I was forced to give a lot of lectures to explain why I did it and all that. The interest was very high. Ghanaians want to know whatever affects our constitution is very important to them.
Whatever affects us as a people.
As people. We are growing as people. It is very important. That is why I think it is very significant. Must go down in our history for this Chief Justice, Mrs. Wood, to have suggested that it creates openness.
Transparency.
Accountability. We need all that in our system for our growth. He wasn't trying to do that to prejudice this and that. A case starts, you can't look this way or that way. You just go on the merits. So I pray, and I wish, and I expect all Ghanaians, they should be the first set of protectors of the lawyers, of the judges. They, as soon as judgment is given. This is why I respect what J.J. Rollins said, and J. Kufu also said, that be bold and give an honest, truthful judgment. Why will these two heads of states say that, independent of each other? Because they know the system, they know the country, they sense the repercussions. But because people may be afraid of one thing or the other, no. This is why I'm calling on the IGP and the police and our security structures to make sure these Supreme Court judges are protected to the hilt. It is the right expectation of the people. So that they don't get afraid about anything, because as soon as you undermine the judiciary or they come out with judgments that are not popular, the whole structure is breaking. I said there must be balance of power. If the legislature cedes its power to the judiciary, it's weakening it. Our Constitution expects these three groups to be independent and powerful so that they can drive the country forward. This is why you don't give social and political considerations on legal matters. Otherwise, you're weakening our law and order first and foremost. That's why when I went, I received calls, threatening calls. Look, if you continue to take the matter to court, we'll burn your restaurant. And they burnt it. Next call. If you take it, we'll kill you. I say, hey, man dies once. I didn't mind them. And Akufo-Addo was extremely bold. There was a time I tested him to find out whether he will quit. He doesn't quit. Basic principles, a true Democrat. He's fought for it. And that time we were determined to make sure the lines were drawn properly.
And you achieved it.
And we achieved it by God's grace. And I cannot see how they can slip. And I'm praying to them, I'm asking them respectfully, saying that, look, please, be bold, citizens, be bold behind the judiciary. Let's accept their decisions, especially when we have made up our minds that we know details and all that. They will explain to us to understand if it is contrary to whatever people think. The explanations have to be so clear and so good that a person who has made his mind up can be changed. But where there are gray areas, and we expect the people to understand and accept, I won't talk for the people, but I know the people because I'm always on the ground. We want peace and stability in this country. Justice. If no justice, you can't have peace. It's simple.
That statement has come up again, that there can be no peace without justice. You really believe that?
Absolutely. Look, Malcolm X, even Luther King, peaceful people, Mandela, basic trends in the approach in fighting for equality and all that. It's embedded in there. It's a natural process. You want peace? I have to be fair to you. I have to be just to you. Otherwise, I won't have peace. If we want peace and stability in this country, the truth is number one. And we must be bold to tell the truth. And the whole country should stand behind the judicial process so that we can move forward as people in this country and develop together. Hey, I'm president today. If tomorrow the rule says I cannot be president, what's the big deal? It's the people that matters. The law matters. The people matters. If they say, oh, you came to court, what you came with does not make sense. Believe me, you have to come and explain properly, because that illiterate in the village understands it. They stole. That is their mind. So to tell them they didn't steal, or stealing it doesn't apply, or whatever, you must be very clear. So this is what I'm saying. It is very, very important for the stability and peace of this country
that a clear decision is given.
Clear decisions are given.
And you shall know the truth, and the truth will indeed set you free.
Absolutely.
Ghana is on the precipice of trying to find out what exactly the truth about the 2012 elections were. Please hold on. Let me take this very short break, and when we come back, we'll continue with the discussion. Welcome back to Minority Caucus. Today we've had a very insightful discussion about the Supreme Court petition. With me in the studios is the man that has done this before, has been in a big case before, knows of the intricacies, the ins and outs of the justice system of Ghana. You can also join in this discussion by calling 030-2211-701224. 030-2211-701224. As usual, the text lines remain 1760 all networks. 1760 all networks. WhatsApp only 0244-928-375. 0244-928-375. Please bring your views on this one and let's join it. Now, I just want to pick your mind on something. Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo clearly has a track record for going against what he believes to be unfair issues in our justice system. He has said that this particular Supreme Court petition is not about him or his presidency or any other thing, but it is about Ghana. You believe him?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've known Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo for over 50 years of my life. I've known his principal stance on all these. First of all, I've said it on various TVs and stuff like that. For Nanado to lose 2008 when we believed he won, and then 2012 is denied him again, people were ready to hit the street. There are times, when people say, oh, NDC is bold, they can be rioters and all that. I tell you, Ghanaians can be bold and rioters. It doesn't matter who it is, this country would have turned upside down. The man decided to give law a chance, the court a chance. This is extremely commendable. He has created serious peace in this country. Why? Because he understands the processes for development, for protecting the nation, for moving the country forward. Otherwise, if it was for his own selfish reason, he would have sat back and let the people decide. We had to go around telling people to hold fire, to stop everything, and let it go on.
Okay.
So for that reason, I believe strongly that.
Okay. We have a call on the line. Jam, how are you doing?
I'm fine. Good evening.
Good evening, Chief. Can you please turn down the volume on your TV set?
Okay. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm very grateful to you.
But in the first place, I want you to greet that old man for me. If you have this type of people, 5 of them in Ghana here, we don't have any problem at all. He speaks to our understanding. He makes us understand what is happening in Ghana here. And I pray God for him to long-lasting life, and then long-lasting life to Nana Akufo-Addo. And Nana Domoa, credit for you.
Thank you very much, Chief. We are very grateful. Emmanuel, welcome. Hello,
right,
Emmanuel.
Welcome. Hello.
Yes, sir. Welcome.
All right. So I was saying that I don't understand why people have been speaking about peace, but they stop speaking about justice. If there is justice, there is peace. So I want us to speak about justice instead of peace. If justice comes, peace will definitely follow.
Thank you.
That would be my contribution.
Thank you very much for those opinions, and those continue to be the opinions that are shared by a majority of Ghanaians in so many ways. I'm continuing to receive your WhatsApp messages. Send your text messages as well on 1760 all networks. Imon, welcome. Hello, Imon. Yes, sir. You have the floor.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good evening to you and your panel.
Good evening to you too.
Yeah. I've been listening to your program and I'm enjoying the discussion so far. Yeah, about the Supreme Court petition currently pending. We, the NPP, we are highly optimistic that Nana and his able co-petitioners are going to be declared victors. But I just want to send a word of advice to my colleagues, the youth, especially my friends in the NDC, that all of us as Ghanaians should accept the verdict that comes out of the Supreme Court. There is no need for us to take up arms against each other. Like the former president said, the judges should also be bold in coming out with their decision.
Yes.
They should not we don't know their political colors, but if at all they have, it should not influence their decision. Justice first before party, and Ghana first before any other thing. That is my humble contribution to your program tonight.
Thank you very much. Another person sends a WhatsApp that we are fully in support of the NPP. So we all need justice. If not, that's a very serious statement to make, whoever this is. Thank you a lot for tonight's program. It's been very educative and insightful. Praying for the life of Dr. Tufo Eshi Rado. This is from Johnson Yeboah. I have another one from Arsenal. I'm very happy that you brought Dr. Amako Tufo again. This is from Kwabena Techi Mensa, the communications director of NPP in the Central Region, I believe. He says that we're doing a great job. Thank God for the life of Dr. Amako Tufo. He has said what some of us have always felt. Another person, Peter from Bantama, also says that if God says yes, nobody can say no. I salute Nana and the NPP for their patience, and the battle is the Lord's. As we have also said always, the battle continues to remain the Lord. Another person says that, Nana, if justice goes with peace, and hence we must let justice prevail. If indeed we want to enjoy peace, Ajingo Jr. from Atebubu sends us this one. And then there's Daniel from Takrady. I never get through any time I call. Congratulations, you are doing well. And to Doctor, we say well done for setting the pace. You are a very bold man. Another person says, good evening, Nana. Dr. Amako Tufo sitting with you is 1 out of 24 Ghanaians. And indeed, we pray that God gives him a very long life so he will continue to educate all of us. Another one says, the F4 in Pando says, we in the Volta region are really in support of Nana and the NPP. It is time the NDC has taken us too long for granted. Well, I believe there were some construction errors there, but we'll deal with it later. Abbas from Tamale says that, Doctor, you are very good. We appreciate this that you've shared with us. No justice, no peace. So the judges should be bold. From Benedict in Koforidua, NPP all the way. Keep them coming on 0244 928 375. I have another caller on the line. Hello, caller.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, boss. How are you doing?
I'm fine. This is Hussein Safiano calling you from Sabilu.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. I would like to say good evening to Dr. Amako Tufo and to tell him that we are proud of him. We are looking up to some of them, and we want them to continue to live so that they will leave a very good legacy for MPP. Nana, what I want to say is that Nanado needs to be congratulated, and he is supposed to be commended for going to court. Nana, do you know if Nanado didn't go to court, what would have happened in Ghana? In fact, things would have been unbearable in this country. And so I am proud of Nanado. All I want to say is that, because I don't want to be prejudicial, but what I want to say, simple, is that we are pleading with the justices. They should do well and deliver good judgment on this issue. We want nothing but justice in this country. Without justice in Ghana, there will never be peace. We need peace too. And so I am appealing generously to the justices. We are proud of them. We know they will do a very good job. And we expect them to do that job for Ghana. They are not doing it for any individual, but for Mother Ghana.
Okay.
Without justice, there will never be peace in Ghana.
Thank you very much. I have a WhatsApp from Ken Halm in the United States of America that I like the boldness of Doctor, and I see the same in Nana. That is why the rest of us are friends for him. We thank God for bold men like this in Ghana. Long live Ghana, long live the NPP. Boating, welcome.
Thank you, Nana.
Yes, sir, you have the floor.
Yeah, I'd like to say a big thank you to the man I would like to call him Nana Mwakutu for the comments on the show. And I also want to make a passionate appeal to my colleagues in the NPP, the youth especially. You see, we get a lot of bashing from some people in the name of defending some other party. You see, let us take a very elite position on this thing. Let us not descend into the gutters with them. You get people posting a lot of insults on social media about Nanado and all that. We believe in our man. This is a man who has stood his grounds, fought for freedom and justice in this country. For now, I can say that we have a lot of confidence in the panel of judges adjudicating this issue. And let us just ignore these people that are peddling all these insults about Nana and all that. Let's focus on what lies ahead of us. And I know that God is still with us. Thank you very much, Nana, for that.
Thank you too very much. I'm glad to listen to Mr. Mwakutu speak because this is my first time of hearing him and truly I'm impressed. I pray that the leaders in this country will listen to Dr. Mwakutu Eric Riafe there. This is Abbas from Tamale. Doc, we the people of Tamale love you. The good work you are doing for the party will not be forgotten. This is Theo as well. It says that we hope that the NPP will win this court case. We thank Doctor for his advice. Nana, this is Victor from Bekwai in the Ashanti region. My advice is that the minority should put in place measures to protect the judges after the declaration has been made. No justice, no peace, Nana, all the way. It is clear for all those who watch the court case to know where the axe should fall. In God we trust, the battle remains the Lord. Inshallah, the coming of Nanado is just meters away. Nana, if the judges should accept the idea that polling agents signed, then the meaning next elections people can chase polling agents away from strongholds and do whatever they wish. To me, some people do not have a case. If not, we should also come with their evidence. I do not know what exactly that means, but that is from Nana Yao from Takrady. This is Douglas from Akwitia saying that the battle is the Lord's. We know that God has already given us victory. Good evening to you, Nana. The man beside you is a very talented man and speaks the truth and justice. We are very proud of him. This is coming from Teddy Ajay. Good evening, Nana. There is my present, even if the Supreme Court did not declare. We are moving into very, very dangerous grounds with some of such statements. Doctor, we, the people of the NPP, are proud of you. Thumbs up for your lecture from Adoma Tepa Ashanti. I have another caller on the line. How are you?
I'm doing great, and you, Nana?
By grace of God, we are surviving, Senior.
Site Constituency Communications Director for CTP North. Nana, I want to commend you for the work that you're doing for this party. And I also want to say kudos to Nana Akufo-Addo for taking the democratic path. In fact, as Nana rightly said, it wasn't easy for him to have rejected the verdict from the Electoral Commission. But then he decided not to take the streets, but diverted the attention of the supporters to the court. We've all watched the proceedings on our television stage, and we still believe that the battle is still the loss. We've been praying for the justices of the Supreme Court, and we believe that the supreme interest of the citizenry will be put into consideration. We are still counting on them, and we believe that the final day, God will show his face to Nana Akufo-Addo and the other petitioners. May God be with you all.
God be with you too. Michael, welcome to the program.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yes, sir. You have the floor now.
Yeah, I want to plead with our leaders, the political leaders in this hours. They should let their opponents understand that justice will go in either either side, either the MPs or the NDC. And that does not mean that that's how justice. But if they say that no justice, no peace or something like that, I think it's not the right thing.
Thank you very much for your opinions as well. Nana, for the very first time in my life, I feel privileged to be a member of a great party like the NPP because of people like Dr. Amwakutufo. I've always admired him and have read so much about his case. Greetings to Nanado and all of our leaders. The battle is the Lord's from Solomon in Kumasi. Cynthia, welcome.
Thank you.
Once again, I have a female on the line. It's very good to see that females are very active.
Hello?
Yes, madam, you can speak.
I'm Cynthia calling from Dansuma.
Okay.
I want to commend Nana for his patience. As the saying goes, patience move mountains. So for mountains to move. Thank you.
Thank you too very much for your opinions. We thank you that you've been bold enough to share it. Nana has shown that he is a lawyer. We thank God for the temerity of Nana. Hi, Nana. Psalm 46 verse 10 says that, be still and know that I am the Lord. That is my message to all of you who are worried about the likely outcome of the case. That is coming from Ike and Sako Mono. Nanado chose the right path to go to the Supreme Court. I pray that he will be president come the verdict of the Supreme Court. Gasti from Puano also sends that. Abbas from Tamale says that, Doc, may God bless you. You are so good, doctor. And then Abbas from Tamale once again also says that, Doc, may God bless you. You are so good. I have Shaibu on the line as well. Shaibu, welcome. Hello, Shaibu.
Good evening, Nana.
Good evening, Chief. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great.
Okay, you have the floor.
I have to commend you for your program. I admire you so much. Yeah, but all that I just want to say is that we have been yearning for peace. Always we talk about peace and justice, and mostly justice is not what we want. Sometimes the justice could be that something that you cannot think. Sometimes in the run-up to elections, we pray for people who will come in with peace. And when our candidate does not win, we think God has not answered our prayers. But in any case, we still pray that justice should be done and there will be peace. Thank you very much.
Thank you too very much. I have Baron on the line, and unfortunately, Baron will be my last caller. Baron, welcome.
Thank you, Nana. But I've tried many times. It goes, and unfortunately, the caller did not pick me. But thank God that I've gone through. In fact, I want to appreciate you very much. That God has healed you. I pray for your eyes. Thank God the spectacle is off now. Now, I want to thank Nana Tufo. In fact, I read about what do you call it, a case. I'm a social studies teacher, and I read about the Tufo versus that. And in fact, the man is not bold. You can see that his poster and his demeanor looks like Nana. I don't know whether the two of you are in the same family lineage. In fact, you are doing a very good job for the mother Ghana. And this Supreme Court case, in fact, I have been monitoring it 24/7. Even if I go to school, I still have earpiece on. And I know very well, just like he said, Ghanaians have formed their opinion already. And we are praying to the Supreme Court judges that indeed they should hit the nail on the head and tell the truth with the law against the evidence. Thank you very much.
Thank you too very, very much. I live in the USA. I've heard of Dr. Tufo, but never seen him until today on television. I'm 51 years old, but never heard that he had taken such a case to the court to protect or reinstate a Chief Justice who was an error and won the case. What is historic? This is indeed very historic. Thank you, Dr. Tufo, and You, the presenter, Ora Akwesi in the United States of America. It is so evident that the NDC have lost the case. They are just in their denial state, but they will soon come to accept God is in control. The battle is still the Lord's. Akko from Bantama. I also have another one from, all we need is to be able to, for the MPP to come to power. Thank you as well. Unfortunately, I cannot read everybody's messages, and so please forgive me. I'll try and find another way of inculcating all of these things so that everybody can see it. But for today, please, let's read two more and leave it there. Nana is the winner of 2012 elections. You didn't add your name for that. And then the last one. Please, Nana, what we need is to advise the youth of the NPP to become and hope that the battle is the Lord's will come to fruition. Doctor, these are the opinions of the people of Ghana.
Brilliant. Ghanaians have spoken, and I can assure you that what came out is the truth. People are speaking the truth. To start with, I'm definitely not a sycophant, but the world must know that the kind of pressure that was on Nana Akufo-Addo to allow people to get to the streets after 2 attempts and with painful losses that we all suspected were stolen verdicts and have been demonstrated by Ferijan in court. I'm not trying to prejudice the case. But the world leaders that look at Nobel Prize winners for peace without prejudice, I'm not a sycophant. Nana Akufo-Addo deserves to get a Nobel Prize for peace. That singular action. I saw him, I looked at him, I watched him closely, his body language and all that. He said the court will have to decide. So that is number one. Number two, we all expect the judges to be bold. But boldness also requires the right type of protection. I'm calling on the IGP and the security agencies of this country, again, that they should give maximum protection to our Supreme Court judges. Maximum protection. Because, I'm saying this advisedly, that if something should happen to any of them, the country will hold them to ransom. So it is incumbent on them to do that. Now, I'm calling for police sustained protection and security to get to a time where it will not be that necessary. This is very important. If you want the truth out of anybody, make sure there's no panicky situation anywhere. We've had funny history before in this country. The people themselves would then end up giving the support to the protection and the security we're talking about. Like you correctly said, the truth shall always set everybody free. We must know and remember that the whole world was listening in on all the proceedings. The judge's reputation are at stake if they deviate from the truth. Posterity, if they deviate from the truth, will not forgive them. There's a whole lot that will go for them or against them if they are not bold enough to follow the path of the truth. They are human beings, but I encourage them. I also pray to God to give them wisdom and the boldness. If for nothing at all, 2 former heads of states have come out to say, give the right verdict, be bold. There's something significant about that. And when they say that, we must respect from their experience, for having run this country, for seeing the way this country is going into the doldrums. We need to save this country. And it is now incumbent on these judges to help protect and save this country. As a mathematician or an engineer with maths background, justice is a necessary and sufficient condition for peace.
That is a very, very deep truism that I have learned today, that justice is a necessary and sufficient element for peace. Ladies and gentlemen, we of the MPP continue to remain steadfastly strong in our commitment that we want peace in this country. We also demand absolute justice in this matter that lies before the Supreme Court. In the long run, it is the justice that will be served that will determine the long-lasting peace in our country. It is about time we made it very clear that you may get away with doing wrongs for a period, but finally, your acts will catch up with you. We have gone to the Supreme Court presenting our case to the Supreme Court because we believe in the motto of Ghana that says freedom and justice. In that light, to you, even as you go to bed today, whatever religion it is that you believe in, go on your knees and say a prayer to the Almighty God for the mother Ghana. Let's pray for the judges as well, for their continuous protection and the wisdom that a good God will grant them to enable them serve justice, no matter how hot or how cold. My name is Nana Kofi Opon Damwa. I've been here with Dr. Kwame Amwako Tufuo, and we want to say that have a very good evening, sleep tight, and may God protect you. Good night.